welcome to another edition of the Motley Croc. It is September 21st, 2023, and we're going to talk about things tonight. Sometimes we're going to talk about things that may upset people and things that may be considered trigger words, which I have an issue with, and we'll have to talk about that. But if you're offended tonight, I'm sorry, but we're just going to talk about a few things that may just rub people the wrong way. So I'm going to first start off. I'm going to bring in the Manic Satanic because he's here.
What's up, y'all?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How about you doing? How you doing?
I am doing really well.
Good.
So
good.
How's your life been? We actually have a couple people that are interested in like medical stuff, so they like to hear about some of the stories.
Cool.
Some of your medical stuff.
Man. Been busy. I just worked 6 in a row.
Yeah.
At all in emergency, so I had some crazy shit going on, and not the least of which was I have a pager when I'm in emergency because I usually have another assignment too, and I got a page about somebody swallowing a battery. So I figured it was a little kid, hey Heidi, and it ended up being like a middle-aged woman, pretty much swallowed a battery. Shit like that, man. What's up, Brett?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
And just working my ass off. A lot of shit going around right now, respiratory stuff, and it's overdose season, so you're getting a lot of those too.
Until she's ready. I think she was. I'm sorry, Jeff. I think she was like trying to get ready.
No, it's cool, dude.
Like, like she had like the egg in the face kind of thing. I just know that there's been, you have some interesting stories about that. And so I just thought, and I think it'd be good because I know in the medical field, you guys deal with a lot of, people that get offended, or you got a lot of racism or know-it-all patients. So
we hear it a lot from like the older patients, they'll be like, oh, why are all the nurses black, or why are all the nurses Hispanic? I want a white nurse. It's friggin' ridiculous, dude. Stupid shit.
And that's what I mean. Like, and it really doesn't, you're just like, whatever, we have a job to do. And that's one of the things I was going to talk about tonight. Obviously, I sent you a couple things today. One being the very last of, the girl that borrowed the alligator for her birthday party.
I know. I didn't get a chance to read that one, man.
A little extreme, but
Did Martin lend it to her? Or?
Yeah, right. I mean, I know, but I guess this person's done a lot of stuff. I mean, if you what's up, Dan? He seems to be feeling better.
Dan?
But and I really want to talk on like trigger words, and I'm going to tell a couple stories, about how things are different from the time when we were growing up to from whatever, Jeff, from when you were growing up to the to a few years later it was us. We're in the same boat. I mean, relatively speaking, but. One of the main questions I've always had, and I'd like to ask it to someone as maybe as laid back as Brittany. Why do we give so much power to a word?
Agreed, 100%.
Okay, why should we give that much power to a word? I just don't think
what the people who say it want. They want to get a rise out of you. That's why people say things. And if you don't give them the satisfaction, sorry, I know you're asking Brittany, but just my quick 2 cents.
No, go for it. Just jump in.
Yeah.
I was just saying,
because if you don't react and you don't show them that you got a rise out of her, that you're upset or you're triggered or whatever the fuck people say these days, it loses its power. You know what I mean? They what's the point of them calling you something if it's not going to hurt or affect you? So that's how I look at it, is that people call me, I grew up getting called some nasty names growing up, Jew names, and, they make fun of the fact that I'm extremely attractive and intelligent, and it hurt, you know what I mean? It was a little rough.
It hurt.
It hurt me in my heart.
It hurt.
My only 2 cents on it is honestly, like, first, let me just state this. I don't agree with bullying. I think there's a fine line, right? Like, I don't agree with bullying. Like, I don't think you should target somebody and bully the crap out of them to make them feel like, especially with kids, like in middle school, high school and stuff, where they're really trying to figure out who they are. Right. Now, hold on. There's a degree. However, I do think there's a fine line of like picking on, it's going to get so taken out of context. I just know it. But
remember, folks, while you're watching the show, just understand why Brittany's talking. We put a comical spin on things. Okay. This is just stories.
Yeah.
things. So don't get offended. If you get offended, then don't listen. Like Gene Simmons said, turn it off. Okay.
Yeah,
we don't need that. We don't need that. So
He also said if it's too loud, you're too old. So I like that part.
no, but I think like so
Gene
when
Simmons
we were growing up, like we had to take some ridicule to get tough skin. We had to learn how to be confident within ourselves and basically just say, okay, whatever, your words don't hurt me. I don't care because I am confident in who I am. I'm proud of who I am. So you can say whatever you want to say. I'm going to bed with a smile on my face, right? As to where, like, and you had to kind of go through those trials and tribulations growing up to have somebody like pick on you or say these trigger words to make you go home and go, why would they say this to me? Oh, maybe it's because they're jealous, or like you tell yourself and you rebuild your confidence up. You know what I mean? Like you give yourself confidence from it, and then you become a better person. You become a stronger person in society. When nowadays, where you're triggered by like everything is a trigger word. We're not building a tough skin society. We're not teaching people to be confident in who they are. Like if I was to tell Jeff, whatever, 4 eyes, just knock it off. Like
I'm out.
Like Jeff would be like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, you're right. I got 4 eyes.
You only have 3,
But
one on the ground.
But I'm saying like those were like old, what would be considered what trigger words, right? Like old pick on trigger words. Yeah. But I mean, like, it's what made us strong.
What's up, guys?
So, like, the more that we continue to like allow those words to have power over us, and then we're like, I don't want to go to work because Brian said I had, to wear these glasses because my eyes are weak. Okay, well, technically they are. So suck it up and do your job. Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm not picking on you. I'm using you as an example.
To me, it's like getting pissed off at your belt because it's too tight.
Yeah, it's like, why aren't you just confident who you are? Like in one breath, but in one breath, our society is like, oh, we should be confident, be you, stand out, shine bright. But then the moment somebody wants to just be like, well, I don't agree with that, I think it's pretty dumb. They're like, oh my God. I have to quit my job. I need to leave my world. It's like, oh my God. That goodbye. We're done.
We're out.
Where'd you go?
Oh. No, I'm just kidding. No, like I don't care. I get it all the time. Troy knows. I get picked on with that stuff like all the time. Believing in Bigfoot. Do you think I give 2 flying craps what people think if I believe in Bigfoot? I don't care what you think.
System. Everybody makes fun of people for beliefs. I'm talking about. Well, let me tell you a story. So I have a storage unit, and I was going over to it the other day, and my mom was over, and she hadn't been there yet. She's like, "Oh, where's it at?" I'm like, "It's over here. In case you need to go somewhere. If I die, I want you to know where it's at."
That's morbid. Okay.
I just have to say this because it's only because I mean, really, I don't. There's a lot of cool shit in there. I want people to know where it's at if they need it for my family. So at the
when
end of the
I
day,
die,
so I unload the storage and we're leaving and we're coming out and I go around the corner. Right. Well, there's these giant AC units, dude, on top of the buildings. Huge. They look like these big, giant round mushrooms, dude. So I'm driving out and I look up. Somebody climbed up there and put the N-word on there with an S on the end of it, as big as they could. And I'm thinking, who in the fuck would think that that's okay to do? I mean, like when you take the burn, I said, Mom, look at that. I have the pictures to prove it. I can't use the terminology on the show. I won't because of the bots. Not because I feel that way, but because I just won't say that word. But it was the N-word spray painted in gloss black on the side of a shiny, giant mushroom-looking cover over of the AC unit right in the middle of this. And this new company just bought it. So now everybody going in as you're leaving, it says the N-word with an S on the end of it. And it's still there today. And the reason I laugh is like, what is wrong with people? Do they not like say, hey, we should probably take that off our business. It's not good. I mean, or who the hell will do that? I mean, I'm just at a loss.
I don't know about you, but that'd be the first thing I'd be over to cover up if I.
Yeah.
Maybe the new owners just have a terrible marketing strategy, and that's it.
That's
what I'm saying.
That's like going to Jimmy's place, and when you pull up, his gate says the N-word with the S. Who would do that, dude? I mean, that just.
Oh my God.
That word triggers a lot of people. Now, I remember growing up.
Yeah.
In the 80s, and there were bands like NWA and all that stuff, and we know what that means. I can't say that either, but they were kind of diffusing that language. They were diffusing that terminology. Like, you can say it doesn't mean anything anymore. We're not going to give that word power or whatever. You can't take from us, right? I mean, Brett knows what I'm talking about. He remembers the whole era, and good for them. And I don't have a dog in that fight because that word does not apply to being disgusting to my race. So I don't have that fight. I mean, I wouldn't want people doing that in public. I think it's rude. It doesn't trigger me, and it shouldn't trigger them. It should just be like, whatever, it's another word. We need to take that away, those powerful words away from like making you upset. Who cares if somebody calls you gay or fag or fat? Who cares? You don't want to be around those people anyways.
Exactly.
I mean, really.
Nope.
Like, we call each other shit like that all the time, ball busting and stuff. And there's a
different. Yeah, that's totally different. Yeah.
Right. We have a big demographic in our circle, so we can get away with certain things. It's not like you go out and use it in the general public just because society deems it wrong. But we need to take power away from those words. I mean, we need to take power away from that everybody's scared stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
And so, so for example, today, you guys, I sent you the thing on the airplanes, right? The airplane. Did you see that? Where it's supposedly a expensive jet disappeared or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
So with that, hold on, Jimmy.
I'm looking.
I didn't see that
No.
either. Hold on.
It's an F-35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
35.
I'll tell you
planes
what, though. I'll tell you
happened?
what. There's been some really funny Instagram.
Go for sure, Brittany. Why? Pull this up for Jimmy. What do you mean, really?
Like with the missing jet. There's been like really interesting and funny, like, not to be morbid with it, but there's just funny stuff with it because it's like you can't find this missing jet, but you can find other stuff.
Well, they had that one jet disappear.
But I want to say that. Wait a second before we get too far into that. I'm sending this over so Jimmy can look at it too again.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either. I don't think.
I'm putting it in the main group. So I talked to a legitimate pilot today about that whole scenario. And he gave me an entire rundown of everything that was in that little presentation there, that propaganda was not true, because what's being investigated, what's being looked at, right? So what he explained to me was, I'll tell you what he said. I'm just going to read it here to you guys so I can just say it, because I'll read what he said. It's a lot different. All right. So he said they never released info on crashes until the final accident investigation board is completed, the AIB. Guarantee the pilot didn't say shit to anyone until he was interviewed by the safety investigator. First thing that happens is the safety investigation board, the SIB, where safety privilege can be invoked, and the pilot can actually lose everything, including his wings, and they also want to keep things covered for zero blowback. That way, the safety data can be used to prevent future crashes. Safety privilege does not.
Is that the plane?
Sorry, that was the jet.
Oh, I know where the plane is. It's in Jimmy's living room.
Holy moly!
Total time can take.
I didn't realize it was going to be that
60
loud.
days.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, Samantha.
It's okay. Total time can take 60 to 90 days to complete. The reason the airplane continued to fly was most likely due to its auto ground avoidance system, the AGAS, right? So yes, those planes are so smart that the plane didn't necessarily crash because of weather. It may have avoided something. It avoided, civilian areas and went on.
So did the plane crash?
Yeah. So if the plane, they said disappeared or whatever, but they probably, what he's stating is they know where it's at. It has to go through a full investigation before it's released to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, so
Those plans have, what he said, so the plane has
Now.
So the plane has something that avoids it from hitting the ground, which sounds, you would want that. The pilot ejected, obviously, and the plane went on. So it autopiloted itself wherever, and it had to do a slide into it. I don't even know what happened. We may never know until they release it. So he said SIB happens first. It's the Safety Investigation Board. Safety privilege can be invoked to award a pilot. Mechanics, eyewitnesses can give any info on the threat of retribution. The goal is to find out the data and what happened to take immediate steps to prevent the same thing from happening in the safety investigations. I'm sorry, it sounds long-winded, but he's giving me legitimate stuff. AIB is Accidental Investigation Board, which the board where people involved can most likely have legal representation. think that if it is a legal investigation that could lead to legal action against people in the board, they have found at fault. Legal investigation, he says the key word. That's why all of it's not just thrown out there. We're like, oh, yeah, the plane crashed over here and they can't find it. It's not that they can't find it. They're just not releasing where it's at. They didn't state either or.
Right.
That just, there's more. It says this is how it works in the Air Force. I think it might have been a Marine F-34. So not sure how exactly they go about it, but it's probably very similar. I'm sorry, F-35, he said. So, but people put that on social media, and the people who don't know anything about that start sharing that propaganda and creating more fear. I just think that shit's done on purpose.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean,
most definitely.
It's an ongoing investigation. They have to keep a lid on it because it'll taint an investigation.
Here's my problem with it. Here's my problem with it. So instead of basically like just being normal and being like, all right, everybody, we have the aircraft, but we have to do a proper investigation on to find out why XYZ, right? Simple to come out to the public to say this so that propaganda and freaking shit doesn't start online. But instead, they don't mind. They do it anyway. Yeah, I talk with my hands. I do it all the time.
Did you read it?
What you sent me?
What Brittany just, or what Samantha said?
Oh no, no! I
Brittany
did that
gave the
because
mom
I had a
hand
bug.
everyone.
I had a bug in my face.
Me and Jimmy don't, we can't fall into that. We don't have dad hands or mom hands. So
this is I don't want to hear it. Don't talk about it. No, but like I'm saying, like if they would just open it up to be honest with people, then this propaganda wouldn't start. But in fact, that they just don't care. They want that hype on media. They just do, and media feeds off of that. Conspiracies, political, whatever the case is, they always feed off that garbage, whether it's good, bad, ugly, otherwise. And so it's a simple thing that they come out. It's not going to stop the investigation process on the jet. If they say, good news, everyone, we found it, but we need to do a thorough investigation as to find out why this happened. And when we do, we will share it. End of story.
United States military. It's that simple. They can do whatever they want. What's up, Ange?
Hi, Ange.
You know, and let's just say, for example, you know, we were talking about that's propaganda and trigger words and getting everybody scared and creating, you know, racism and creating hate and creating violence, all this other bullshit that they do to us day in and day out. Consume. Right? Yep. So like I look at old videos and things and like let's now remember, folks, we're talking about subjects, and I'm gonna be very clear about what I'm saying. We're talking about subjects that may or may not offend somebody in the term that they're released. To us, I'm talking about them lightly. Same with anyone on the panel here. Doesn't mean we feel that way. Doesn't mean we think that it's right or wrong or anything. I'm just being very indifferent. So like when we were young, Jeff, you'll remember anybody that had Down syndrome, they used the word mongoloid. Correct?
Sometimes, absolutely.
And now it's going to be an offensive word. But back then, I mean, they would put them up on these videos. The doctors would show you, you know, they would be standing out there like in diapers or underwear, humiliated, I guess, talking about, they talked about them as if they were captive animals. They were like, they're friendly at times. Sometimes they're aggressive. Sometimes they're sexual. I mean, they talked about, and they had them standing on these podiums and they would twist them and they would, you know how they make their face and they smile. They didn't know what's going on, right? Back then. And they just institutionalized them and stuck them all in a place. You know, like we've done some things. And I mean, and they called them mongoloids. If you say mongoloid now, people just freak out. But you know, some of the older generation, they're not hating on that person. They're not disrespecting them. That's just what they were called then, and they just didn't understand. It's all about education and language. So for someone to get super upset about that, but I was talking to one of my neighbors, and she said she knew somebody that would like chase them down and like push them and stuff and touch them and then yell touchdown. That is offensive, right? I mean, I'm sorry I'm laughing, but I mean, that's offensive. Is it?
No, it is. It is. It just, the way you said it, just, you know, I just can't.
I just don't know how else to say it without being direct. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that it's the right thing to do.
It's not right whatsoever. But you know, try to keep it
find very cool that there's a lot of people now that have Down syndrome that have TikToks and Instagrams, and they do all that humor shit about having Down syndrome. And I think that is exactly where it's at. You know, don't shelter
them. And
them.
They do, and they have a lot of followers.
They have a lot of following. Right.
Exactly.
That's what they're born with. That's the human vessel. Let them have fun. And I read some of the the comments in those the people are like, oh, this is disgusting. You know, you're exploiting this. What do you want them to do? This is what they're having fun doing. You know,
Right.
They're dressing up like John Travolta and they've got like 10 kids with Down syndrome singing songs and don't give a fuck what people say. And that to me, I think is good.
We can learn from that. They're living their life.
You know, people just take things so out of proportion and I mean, and like you were talking about bullying. How do you feel about bullying, Jeff? I know how I feel.
Well, I mean, I think bullying sucks, man.
I hate fucking bullies. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I was a real small kid growing up, and you know, they tried to bully me, and plus I was like, you know, a lone Jew and lots of other stuff. So, you know, I learned. My dad was old school. He was like, you just got to face it and do what you got to do. And I fought back, and I got much bigger between junior and senior year of high school. I gained like 60 pounds and grew 4 or 5 inches. So it was like, you know, now I came back with a vengeance. And now I just, you know, you want to bully me, you better be fucking prepared, because first of all, I'll mentally tear you to the ground. You know, nothing better than making a bully cry.
Which is exactly what I was going to say. Now, there's another one in my group that has the same thing. I when I was in grade school, I looked like Britney, so I got a lot of bullying. You know, a lot of that. You know, he's a whatever, and words like, you know, butt pirate and rump ranger and, you know, chocolate cowboy and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, at the end of the day, I know the fudge cracker money, all that stuff. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I appreciate bullying. I think it's a necessity in our coming of age. I think, yes, do those people suck? But, you know, Judas betrayed Christ, but, you know, he kind of had to be there, you know, follow that story. So I wouldn't do it to someone, but I think that it's a necessary evil that you have to come up with, or, you know, everybody's going to have a safe space. And then when the real world hits you, where people don't really give a fuck, like when you're in school, you think they care about you. They're like, oh, it's going to be okay, little Troy, you know, you go home and have a cookie. When you got in the real world, you're beat down, you're lied to, you're segregated, you're controlled, you're taxed, you're abused, you're told you could have a business, and they rape when it comes to money. So I think bullying is a disgusting way of making you who you are. I mean, really, you know, bully's going to get their cheeks spread wide again, get that peanut butter ready. I don't know what that means, Dan. I mean, if that's what you like to do,
hungry, Dan, or
with that, Dan, if that's how you want to be, I mean, I'm good with that too, bud.
I don't understand how putting peanut butter.
Dan needs to be careful how he writes this shit.
Are you planning on tossing some peanut butter salad? I'm not sure what you're saying there, but I mean, I back you up.
I honestly don't want to know.
I have one good question.
He's going to get revenge on bully by peanut butter in their butt cheeks and eating it. I mean, if that's what he's going to do, he's like, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's what he's doing.
Dan, the important question is chunky or smooth?
Stop it.
Bro.
No.
If you're going to do it,
nobody wants to know, Jeff. Stop.
Smooth becomes crunchy. That's all I got to say.
Or just add candy corn. It's Halloween.
I'm done.
God, you guys.
I'm done. This is like triggering to make me want to throw up.
Excessive, you know, I think that excessive, you know, over the top stuff to someone who is mentally impaired or physically, you know, you're like if you're taking a guy that's paralyzed and you're taking him up to the top of the football stadium, rolling him down the stairs and letting him go, it's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
real, you know, they made it look
there's like extreme bullying, and then there's just picking on because somebody wants to pick on you. Like there's extreme bullies that I think are too far, but then there's like picking on you or whatever. You know what I mean?
On fire, dude, or you know, taking a big dump in the toilet and then giving them a swirly. That's wrong. I mean,
there's just lines. There's lines that you don't cross. Like, I mean, even like in friend groups, we pick on each other, but we know that there's a line you don't cross. Like, there's just certain things you just don't do.
I don't know about that.
So,
I don't know. Me and Troy, we cross a couple lines.
Okay, well, in my friend group, you pick on people, but you just pick out of love. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think that there's a fine line, and I think that's because, like, I think about like if Finn came home, knowing with Finn's like some of the things that he deals with mentally, if somebody like, which he's encountered a couple of times, like I'm enraged for him. Like Finnegan, like my son, like knowing if somebody like didn't understand like how his brain processes and they want to bully him for it, like call him whatever because of his long hair, you know, no, like I wouldn't stand by that. Like,
But there's nothing you do. It's not like the parents go, "Hey, listen, when you see the kid Finn tomorrow with the long hair, we want you to bully him and do things."
oh no.
We're
But
wired.
I think
We're wired animals to dominate. That's what we do. And so it just needs a little guidance. You know, in the wild, the gorillas guide each other when they're doing a little bit of that. Baby joeys and the kangaroos beat on each other, and they bully the wimpy one. And sometimes the wimpy one dies. And you know what happens when the wimpy one dies? They don't breed, and they eliminate the wimpy ones. So I mean, there's so many code of ethics now. Humans do things differently on an emotional base, and I understand that.
yeah.
But I find humor in everything because I know I've got my quirks. I know I've got some things that where I'm not a full box of French fries and a Happy Meal. I get it, and it's okay. It's all right, but. You know, you have to find humor in everything in life. Like if I was walking in the mall and somebody exploded next to me, dude, I would probably laugh.
Because we were raised that way. I mean, realistically,
Man,
Troy.
they're talking shit about our parents. Come on.
No, we weren't raised to like laugh at people that would explode. But we were raised to laugh at when people got
Disclaimer
injured.
on the bottom.
Like we were taught from a young age to like our mom and dad to like help us cope with like if somebody got hurt. So we didn't panic. We didn't go into a panic, and like we were just taught to laugh first. Brett, you know, you were in our growing up.
For example,
I mean, but look at all the movies that we grew up watching, though, too. I mean, everything was about somebody was getting bullied,
Yeah.
somebody was getting
Central
fucked with.
nerves.
They come back and they fight. And they get some friends together. They beat the guys up, or they accomplish something. So it's like,
yeah.
I think it's like when I was growing up, it was really apparent to me that like friendship was an illusion in high school. It was like a cultural expression of a pack mentality. It was just survival, you know, and you
Yeah.
pick and choose who you hang out with and shit like that. And if you think
True.
like us, dress like that, talk like that with us, then you're with us. And I think it's just a part of growing up. I mean, I personally hate bullies. I'll fucking leave them in the gutter. I don't give a shit. I can't stand those people. I was bullied my whole life too, but I understand the process of it.
Yep.
So it's like when we laugh at some horrific shit, it's because, I mean, we were the last of the feral children. You know, these kids are growing up, dude, on these TikToks now, thinking that their feelings matter, and no one gives a shit.
That's so true.
You know?
So true.
My dad told
Well
me
put,
early on,
Brett.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you laugh at things like that. I mean, I would laugh at things like that too. I would have laughed at the N-word sign, dude. At Troy's place where he was getting his locker cleared out. I would have laughed too, like, damn,
now,
you guys got some balls.
before or after you
He
spray
meant that
paint
shit,
on
you
there?
know. It's like it would make me laugh too.
What I want to see is the person that did it, dude. I want to see that person and go, dude.
Yeah.
What were you thinking when
It's not that I would go out and hate somebody and like burn a cross in somebody's yard or anything like that. It's nothing to do with that. It was just, it's the cultural.
Yeah.
It's the cultural expression.
Well,
Because I
think
mean, if
too-
you're going to hear it in the music and they're going to say it every other word to each other, then I mean, what's the difference, people?
it's true.
You
I mean,
red
like
pill
the-
yourself or you blue pill yourself. There is no fucking spoon. I mean, take your pick.
That
Or
is
you
a
no-pill
very
yourself.
accurate point. Or you know pill.
Yep.
But I mean, like too, though, if you think about it, like when we were growing up, right? You'd have comedians, like they would have an audience full of all different genders and all different types of races, but we would find a connection through that humor of a common place. Like we would find and be like, oh my God, I can relate to that. Like that's hilarious, you know, to where it wasn't offensive. It was just comedy. They're talking about reality. They're talking about true situations and making humor of it, you know, to where now comedy nowadays has to be like so lightly tread on because you're afraid, like you have to really overthink every single step in your comedy because you don't want to offend somebody, you know, and then
Yeah.
when you put a disclaimer, then immediately they're like, oh, this person's out to like hate on these people. It's like, no, it's not hate. You're missing what the core of comedy is. Like comedy is about relating to somebody and having that funny moment of connection. Like stop taking
And not-
everything so literally. Like it is
And not
it's
allowing somebody
so
to control
annoying.
you with a word or an image.
for sure. Like it's just annoying. Like I sent you guys on our link the name of a comedian that I said you guys need to watch. He's like old school comedy, but he's new. And like we're watching it. And I turned to John, I'm like, is this now? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, how is this guy not canceled?
Because all that bullshit's fading. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're not buying into
Right.
that crap anymore.
Yeah.
I know, but it was refreshing to see like comedy you could relate to again. Like it almost had that nostalgic vibe to it, to where you felt like you could connect with it, and you were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's talking about this. This is hilarious! Like this is
People
so
don't understand
funny."
this. A few of us realized that and I mean, I like the hateful people and the people that shit mouth you and spread you around. I think that's great. I love that because
Can't
it just
buy publicity like that.
who you are, and then they become your fans, man. It doesn't bother me, dude. I mean, people just have, there's just too much bullshit, and the world tried some shit, right? And they're still doing it. And all that's going to happen is when they start doing dumb stuff again and enforcing things, they're going to trigger like a civil war.
Yep.
In the country is what's going to happen.
Exactly.
I don't care what anybody says. History repeats itself. This is not going to be the one time it skips. History's going to go, we're not going to repeat this. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So everybody was like, oh, you got us last time. You did this, you did that, or whatever, and you're going to try. And it's just funny. Like, why can't these crazy things happen when we're not having elections? Why can't these crazy things happen to, they fire shit up for a whole week and then they don't even talk about it again, And then
because it's scripted, man.
Of course. It's all about business. It's all about money and who's doing what.
No, that part I definitely agree with. I think there's a big difference between offensive speech and bullying. I mean, if somebody's offended by something, don't listen to it. Period. I don't. You know what offends me?
Yep.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And everything's funny, from fucking AIDS to Apple Jacks. It doesn't matter. It's you gotta make light of everything. Otherwise, it's no fun.
How many people remember the band MOD?
And what's that?
How about, do you remember the band MOD?
Oh, I remember MOD, man. They're coming around, dude. I saw that they were touring again.
Read the lyrics to AIDS. If that's not getting canceled, bro.
War too. They sing about shit like that all the time, man. And they're unapologetic. But I mean, if you're a bully, if you pick on somebody for the way they look, or how much money their family has, or if they have a disability, or if they want to have sex with same-sex relationships, I mean, you're just a fucking asshole, and you're obviously not secure with yourself.
But we need them. We need them, Jeff.
No, we don't, though. I don't think we do. I think that because if there wasn't any, I mean, granted, like, our parents should teach us mental toughness. Mine did, and my parents were pretty liberal people, but they taught me mental toughness. They taught me not to take shit from people, unless they were like my boss. But I kind of put that one aside and give them shit anyway. But people have to learn that if bullies are ignored, and sometimes you got to fight your way out. It's the name of the game. And if you're little and you get a fucking black eye, so be it. You're a tougher person at the end of the day. I mean, I don't think kids should go around throwing hands at each other, but somebody pushes you too far and you react,
Exactly.
I think that school should bring back things like boxing. So if two kids have a beef, where I went to boarding school,
it's too hard on their little bodies. It's too hard for them.
Where I went to school in 8th and 9th grade, if you had a problem with somebody else, they had a ring, and you could elect to go in the ring and duke it out, in a nice, safe.
Yeah, but it was duked out between that person and the other person, not the one person and 10 of his friends. Or
right, exactly.
Back in the day, it wasn't like that.
I mean, the only time you're third man in is if somebody's going to get killed or something. You fucking leave fights alone. They're one-on-one actions, and I mean, I don't really do that shit anymore, but I imagine if, somebody, it would take a lot for somebody to push me into throwing a hand.
I mean, yeah, I guess I've been through a lot of shit, but I always think of the end of that, the very last Joker, when he's like dancing on that car and the whole world's chaotic and on fire. I fucking love that, dude. Like, let a whole fucking mall explode one day, dude, and you go out to your pool and there's a leg in it and you're like, what the fuck? Just be glad it wasn't you. I mean, the world does so many crazy things, dude. I mean, I've had friends killed for less. So, I mean, it just, I guess you just got to take it all in and just avoid. It's like a big video game, man. That's what I think. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just how I look at it.
Life is GTA, pretty much.
It is. It's all, it's all an illusion out here. How they want you to think like if you take someone that never leaves and reads Facebook all the time and all the controversy and has watched Fox or CNN and listen to that garbage and never leave, they're all looking out their window with hysteria, and it's not like that, dude.
Oh, social media gave a voice to some people that just should not have one.
Yeah, and then the news controls everybody who doesn't have social media, man. It's just an amazing, like, I like taking social media and doing different shit with it. Just who cares? Just have fun, laugh about it, move on. If it happens to us, well, oh well. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Really? We know the world right now is acting a fool. Like, let's be serious about that. Just know where you are, man. Know what side you're on when the time comes.
No sides. No
You
gods.
want to play that little game like we're gonna wait? We're not gonna wait. We're gonna take you and every resource you have. So be ready to go. You got warmongers, you got pacifists, and I'll fall in the pacifist line. I'm surviving with everybody in my group, and that's it.
I wouldn't say I'm a pacifist, but,
dude.
I mean, some fights are necessary.
Yep.
We would not live in a free country if we didn't fucking take up arms against the British and
dude, the whole every living thing on the planet goes to war. It's amazing to me how we think we're special. We don't do it. I watch lizards kick the shit out of each other every day and then bang a lizard and go back to bed for the night. It's amazing what
bang a lizard and rip its arm off in the middle of
sit at each other. Chimpanzees are digging up toads and mouth banging them and slinging them around. I mean, just nothing gives a shit. But humans always feel like, oh, we care. Nobody gives a fuck, dude. Nobody would give a fuck unless they're making money off of it. You're going to start a foundation so you can make money. Yeah, come over here, man. Bring me your week. The government's going to pay us $10,000 for every head. That's how that goes, man. It's just, I really don't believe in politics. I think it's all stupid. Does that make sense?
Of course. No, it is all stupid.
I'm not a political person whatsoever when it comes to discussing politics. If I have my beliefs, I keep it to myself. Unless, we discuss it a little bit, but I don't get into politics with anybody.
I just hate them all, man. That makes it a lot easier.
Because there isn't any politics, man.
Because they're all in it for the money. You know what I mean?
I know Brett has a big side on this. I know Brett does.
On what,
what's
politics?
your opinion on politics? Yeah.
Yeah, do it. I love it. Brett's got a good opinion because he thinks like the rest of us.
We're all waiting on Brett.
He has no opinion on politics.
He's go ahead. Be calculated. Be calculated.
Yeah, I used to think I had a good idea. I'll say that. You really do. I mean, at the end of the day, you sit down with a Democrat or a liberal or a conservative or whatnot, you sit there and you bitch back and forth at each other. It kind of comes to the fact that we all kind of want the same shit, right?
Yeah. More or less.
We all don't, we don't want to live in fear. We want more, keep your hands out of our pockets. Let us live free lives. But now, seeing everything's transpire through the past, just say 5 years, it just seems like a fucking operation to me, man. It really does. It just seems like it's another rung in the ladder.
Well, it clearly is.
Of getting something else to get and look around you guys. We're bitching about this shit that happened to us in the 80s and 90s and whatnot, but the propaganda is working on people. Take a good look. Look at the videos we watch. Look at what people really think. And that's what scares me. It's not the politics. It's that the propaganda's worked.
That's because it's out there so much more than.
Yeah, it's just in your face, and people believe in shit that is just so outlandish to me sometimes.
You have no
and it's
idea.
not because I'm saying I'm smart. I would say I know nothing, but I know what I know. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
And when you look at it and you're just like, I just don't say anything anymore. I just can't believe what I'm hearing and seeing.
Well, I discovered another flat earther at work, and he's like, "Do you really think the Earth is round?" I was like, "No, absolutely not. I know the Earth is round."
Well,
it's just stuff that's so out there that I don't know if people believe it because they want the shock value of it all, or because they actually believe that do you believe the Earth is flat, Brittany, with your big eyes? You can say, I respect.
regardless of what you think. They say follow the science and follow this, and we get these expert opinions on people that don't really know either.
And I don't really.
It's like we were talking about the indoctrination in school. It's like, hey, good job, Brett. You read what we wanted you to read. You're doing what we want. Now take this test. and write down the answers. Yeah, you're smart. And that's how it starts. These kids don't have any fucking mental capacity to go against a teacher, dude, with anything.
Oh,
They're the ones that are smart.
I did.
They're teaching us, so they grow up believing that they're smart. You know, that's
Hey,
the
but it's
truth.
like
If you don't
someone
go
comes up
out
to me, they're like,
and research for yourself and read a book and actually devil into some things, man, and really get down to it. And I'm sure we all have gone down the rabbit hole. I know for a fact we all have.
Oh yeah.
And you all are good at your craft. And I
Oh,
respect
rabbit
every
holes
one
on
of
a
you.
daily basis.
You know, absolutely. You have to,
I'll
because
see something and just be like, okay, I have to know that this is, and I know it's not real, but I have to find out why it's not real, why it's being said. You know, we were talking. You sent me that article, that Stu Peters thing, and he's one. I don't know if you've ever seen his Twitter. Died suddenly, but he'll put people up and claim that they died of COVID or from the vaccine of myocarditis. And you look the people up, and it was a car accident or you know, something like that, and it's like it's dangerous.
I think we were talking before a couple months ago about what is actually put out on social media and whatnot. And when you look through all the lies and all the bullshit that we see and all the deceiving stories to cover while they're doing these under the sheets somewhere else, I mean, how can you really be certain on anything anymore? And that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, I don't know.
Well,
I really don't know. I see what the Democrats have done. I've seen what the Republicans have done. But if this is, I mean, how long are we going to let this fucking Sleepy Joe walk around, dude? I mean, how long has he been dead? Seriously, it's like it's not even him. This motherfucker's just a zombie, dude.
Well, we only got fucking another year till the election, which is going to be a shit show. No matter who wins, everybody loses. Period. You know, there's no proper outcome that's going to come in the 24 election that's going to make.
But that's my point, Jeff. It's like, where are all these revered men that we learned about in school that wouldn't stand for any of this shit? What America stands for.
You got,
and at the end of it, you were talking about the Black Lives Matter and everything, into the movement and all the bullshit. And it's like, you know, the media, like you guys said, they blow it up to like the BLM people are fucking minuscule fleas. In reality, they're not even a point of the percentage of the fucking world population, dude. Even in the United States, and they make them think like they're in your fucking grocery stores, they're in your alleys right now. They blow it up so big, so it's a fear factor.
Absolutely, that's how they live, and then people use that fear to profit. If you look at if you look at a lot of the people that push conspiracy theories, your Alex Joneses, your Stu Peters, I mean, people like that. The way to realize whether or not they're actually interested in the truth is look and see, are they making money off of it? You know, like Alex Jones sells his fucking supplements and his meal prep kits and his fucking organic dick pills and shit like that, because that's what the world needs. If there's an apocalypse, everybody needs an herbal hard-on. You know what I mean?
But hasn't he? I mean, he said a lot of bullshit before that's come out to be bullshit. But he's also uncovered a lot of shit that was true too.
I can't think of one thing he's actually uncovered, to be honest. I listened to a show that's about him and about his show, and I mean, 99.99% of the stuff he says is just, it's either
who is this guy?
Or what's that, Brittany?
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Yeah, he's a talk show host. He is he's the one that ended up losing a $1 billion lawsuit because he went off on Sandy Hook and harassed the Sandy Hook families and told them that their kids were crisis actors and they were crisis actors. You know, he sent people to their houses to harass them. So he got what he had coming. You know, but it's every day, and his thing is that you know, it's all about religion, it's all about God and Christianity and so. We don't live in a Christian country, we don't live in a Jewish or Muslim country. We live in a country that was founded on the freedom to do whatever you want, to be whatever you want religiously. So to say that, we have to get back to Christian values or Catholic values, or you know, it's people like that are ridiculous. They want us, you know, they talk about freedom, but they want us to be what they are, no matter what.
But don't you think it's kind of weird when you look around at your fellow man, and we're taught that, you know, we need a high school education to get a good job. Well, now it's a 2-year degree. Now it's a 4-year degree. Now it's a master's to get a good job and all this other shit, right? And you go into this and you watch each president throughout the years and time hide secrets from us, take our money, raise taxes, raise everything else. I mean, do you guys honestly believe that we're ever going to get rid of some $3 trillion fucking deficit? I mean, what's the difference, dude? Why do people still pay taxes? Why are people still plugged into the fucking machine knowing that they print this shit on a daily basis?
Oh, taxes
Well,
are
we're
free.
paying taxes on it because we're in a fucking prison, dude. And that's the way it is. And nobody gives a shit because it hasn't affected them personally yet. But when it hits your backyard, you're going to see those people that say, well, fuck, I voted one way or the other. You know, this is bullshit. I voted for you. They don't give a shit.
No.
And everybody complains about it and has some weird idea about what's right and what's wrong. But we've fallen too far. I mean, enjoy the show, people. I mean, it's not a doom or gloom. It's just like, hold on to your family and friends.
That's right. Go on the hell.
And do the right thing based on morale instead of right wing, left wing, whatever you see. I mean,
I agree with
that.
People get crazy, and it's like, fuck, man. I wouldn't lie to you. I mean, it freaks me out to think about it because I know what strong, skilled, capable men can do. But what scares me the most is the weak, fucking minded, sniveling rat people of this fucking planet.
Yeah, we're a bunch of lemmings. There's no doubt about it.
You know, and that's kind of where I'm at with that on a political side. It's like, I thought I had a good grasp of it, but I really don't. I won't lie. Like I really don't know anymore.
It's a learned thing, and it's a chemical thing, and it's a chemical induced thing. I mean, let's just take dog breeders for example. You know, we breed for behavior, aggression, or we breed for timid family, right? So we know what to mix, how to add, what to do, how to agitate the dog, how to change that up. And I think that's exactly what the government does. And I think I felt like that since I was a kid. And people used to hate on me because, you know, I didn't buy the glass of Kool-Aid I was handed with the little fucking wafer, dude. I didn't like it. And I would see stuff like, oh my God, you know, I don't believe in anything strong enough that I'm going to go out and kill innocent people for. Okay.
Right.
If you believe strong enough in something that you're going to go out and drive your truck over innocent people, or because you're some sort of a cooler that has genitalia and you identify as a mailbox, and you go run over a bunch of elderly people in a parking lot because we need to get rid of them, you got a problem. It's not anybody around, it's you, right? You should be in whatever you want to be, and you should feel whatever you want to feel like, but going out and hurting people for no reason and going after your own community because someone doesn't see the same way. You know how many people hate the fact that I have tattoos on me, or Jeff, or any one of us that look grody, or Jimmy because he has long hair and he doesn't like to wear shoes. They're like, look at this fucking skinnered motherfucker. That doesn't have anything to do with who you are, man. Your skin suit doesn't make you who you are. And they go out and all this different stuff they tell you, and I'm going to kill you because, you know, you're over 45, so you're the bigoted white man that hates trans and gay. I don't hate trans, gays, or any blacks or anybody. I don't give a fuck. I hate stupidity and people who want to act like cunts. That's what I hate. Other than that, dude, I want to get back to everybody else, dude, like anyone else on this panel, I would think.
Yeah.
And we feel it in our industry. I mean, I've been in the animals industry almost my entire life. Okay. Some of us have, Jimmy. I mean, my entire life. I can't remember a time that we weren't overwhelmed with what we were going to do to go on vacation. Well, where are we going to put all these animals? But anyways, we got that now. We've got organizations that, you know, monitor zoos, and they don't like people because they wrestle an alligator, or they don't like people because they train this and they're taking the folklore from this, or they're contaminating the bloodlines. We're feeling it here. Like, and it's by people who've never had an animal in their life.
Yep.
Saw Jeff.
Those people,
got a with two little snakes hatching, right, Jeff? That was you.
Say it one more time.
I saw it today. I know it was you because I was going through it. It's two little snakes, and it says, "You got a friend in me."
Oh yeah.
Right. You know how many people probably looking at go, this motherfucker breeding those poor things in styrofoam. Look at that one's mouth stuck open, not knowing a fucking thing about anything you're doing or what you're doing. Type about it. They got a big following out there because back in the day when you could buy followers by the billions and you can do what you got to do, you spread propaganda and lies, right? Yeah.
It's the way of the world, man.
These little indoor tough guys, you know, take their breaks and eat their crustless fucking sandwich, you know, and cry if the sun touches their skin. People, listen, there's going to come a time, man, where we're going to have to face them and we're going to have to mow them down and start over.
Yep.
going to have to happen. And that's what people are forcing people to do. And, there's a lot of things. I don't think anybody has the right to go in and kill your animals or any of that kind of stuff either. I mean, that's a big thing. I know any living thing that isn't human is considered property on the premises it's on. It's property, right?
Yep.
And now there are people that love them, and they go out and they start problems, and it's going to cause someone to get hurt, somebody to get hurt or killed doing that kind of shit. That's what I'm saying. And that's just on our end. Imagine everything else, like the lies they tell you about gas cars and you should get a battery car. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What it takes to generate those batteries and what it takes to make energy to charge your batteries more than it does.
And do you know what you do where they put those batteries when they need to be replaced? I mean,
I bury them in Jimmy's backyard.
My point is, dude,
I'll start having green
alligators. Here's the idea.
alligators.
Here's what I'm saying. Great. You love fucking battery powered cars. Get one. You're in America. If you want one, don't preach about why we're pieces of shit because Jimmy drives a 450 fucking ozone killer.
There's a really funny South Park about that.
You know what I'm saying, dude? That's just how I look at it. Like, shut up and ride the fuck on, man. Who cares?
That's right.
I think we should bring back wind-up cars, but in full size with the big key on the back. You got to wind up.
What about the guy that killed that in the 70s or no, late 60s? He invented a car to run on water and it killed him. How about that?
Oh yeah, you mentioned about him.
That's a real surprise.
Hydro.
That really
hydro-powered vehicles. Yeah.
And they killed him. They sure did. It wasn't the government. It was big business. They're like, fuck this dude.
Yeah. When we were kids, we had rockets that ran on water. Remember those? You fill them up and you pump them up and they go fly.
Yep. Blast them off.
Dude, have you guys seen the new thing? We were just watching TV about the other night, and you know how like these people get stranded up on the mountains and stuff like that, and the helicopters can't make up to like certain altitudes or the weather's too bad. Dude, do you remember a movie back in the day called The Rocketeer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where it had like the backpack and like
the jetpack.
The jetpack.
The jetpack.
This guy, I imagine wealthy guy, made a jetpack, and he's trying to sell it to like the forestry and like all these other, big companies to search and rescue. And they're literally, it flies like 70 miles an hour, and you can cruise up like these mountains and shit quicker than helicopters. And it's like you're skateboarding or riding on skates. You can adjust it and turn, and it's insane. It is insane. Yeah.
Do you want to know how I learned about that jetpack? The government. And I'm not joking. So when Peru was having these raids on a village nightly where people were being like basically targeted, and the villagers had to attack these alleged beings that were like attacking them. It was kind of on the news for a little while. And they were saying that these beings that were coming into their village at night were hovering. They were hovering several feet off the ground. And when they were shot at, like literally it was like metallic and things were pinging off of them. So the government came in and stepped in and said, oh, it's the miners in these mining caves attacking this village, and they're wearing these jetpacks. The jetpack that you're talking about, that they represented as the reason why these people were being targeted for over a year, is not even in publication yet. It's not being made yet. They have one in prototype. No one has bought it yet. It's like worth a lot.
Yeah, that's what they
money.
said. They're planning on selling it. Yeah.
Right.
This was on the
Worth
Weather
a lot
Channel.
of money.
Yeah.
Yep. And so they're like, so let me get this straight. This poor mining town in Peru has access to $1 million tech. And
it's
they're
not the town,
attacking
it's
a
the
village.
mines.
Right, but they're saying these miners are this is their gear. They're floating several feet off the ground with jetpacks, like from the future, and can withstand bullets. But I learned about those through the government, because the government tried to use that as a cover-up, as that's what was happening in Peru.
The trick is you aim for the fuel.
They're nuts.
The biggest point that I wanted to make when you guys were talking is that we need to remove egos. I hate egos. I think egos piss me off more than anything.
Yeah, we'll take yours back a bit.
Yeah, I'll take mine down a bit. But egos like literally need to be taken down several notches, because egos will destroy a country like that.
Right.
And then on top of that, I have something that I get pissed off with quite a lot. I don't like when know-it-alls come to me and say, that was fact-checked. We know that was fact-checked. Well, guess what? Who fact-checks the freaking fact-checkers? Because those fact-checkers are just you and I. And we go on fact-check.
The people that fact-check the fact-checkers.
Exactly. So don't sit here and say to me, well, it's been fact-checked, so this is accurate. No, honey, it ain't accurate. You're the same person that believes that everything the government tells you is 100% accurate. Oh, pro-government. No, honey. No, that's not how this works. So don't tell me that you fact-check this information, because nobody really knows one iota. Because guess what? You're not a privy to this information, so you're not going to get it. So until you think that you're above everybody else, keep your freaking mouth shut. Unless you can be respectful and have a normal, healthy conversation or debate or conversate with somebody who does not see equal to you, and just say, hey, you know what? It is what it is. And that's okay, because you're living your life and I'm living mine, but we can still be friends. So unless you do something to little kids or animals, we're good. But I'm tired of having all of this. You talk about triggering. That's a trigger to me when somebody fact checks. I'm so tired of fact checkers.
You need to train yourself that fact checkers is good. That way you don't have a trigger. Don't give any control.
No, I don't get like that kind of triggered. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't like the opinionated people who think that they know so much more than you, and yet you're the one holding the library card. You're like, can you tell me where the fudge you got your intel from? Because let me tell you what, there's history books about this shit that have been rewritten time and time again, honey. Are you telling me you Googled this? Oh, you wikied it. Let me tell you a little fun fact about Wikipedia, honey. Do you know that I could go in tonight and edit it and put in my facts?
Yeah, Wikipedia is definitely not factual. It's a good place to get some basic information sometimes on the quick, but
you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You get these people that Google shit and they think that what's on the internet is fact.
That's who that is.
I'm like, you know what, people? When was the last time your ass walked into a library and picked up a book?
Yeah, but you can get these books online, in all fairness.
Okay, Jeff, you know what, honey? You and me. I'm just saying, like, it's you know, it cracks me up that these people are so opinionated because this one website told them so. Because this one information on factcheckers.com.
In a chapel that holds like 60,000 people.
Oh, and you're right too. I was telling Troy the other night, I was did a walkthrough of my daughter's school. They don't even have a library, guys. There's no books in that place. I fucking hate that school.
It's all digital.
There's not a book in that whole school.
They're probably all burned.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, and you look back, I mean, I'm just worried in like the past, we'll say maybe 60, 70 years that, I mean, I forgot who said it, but it was very, very true to my heart. It said, history is just lies agreed upon. And I kind of believe that.
So true.
You know, I kind of believe that.
Though.
And
but
it's
I want to play on that, Brett. Here's the sad part with that. You know how easy it is to edit when it's digital and take out what you want? Harder than it is through a book, through someone's opinion as an author, as their own deep dive research. You have those books to look upon for your own research and deep dive. Like, I can assure you, well, I can't assure you, forget that line. But Brett, I can relate with you on the respect of you want your children to learn through multiple areas.
I want them to seek it out.
Right.
I don't want them to be told this and just stuff all that shit in their head. This is what's true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I agree with that 100%. Because you know what? Each author comes from a backing of a different investigation, from stepping out of the norm, from stepping away from the box. And those authors guide us mentally to expand our own existence to say, hey, you know, there was an author that said this and there was an author that said that. I kind of like how they both are competing against one another, but there's a fine thread of connection. Allow your mind to find those connections through different authors. But if you're limited, can't do it.
Right.
No, very limited, Samantha. It's all digitized now. It's the whole digital reading. If it was up to the government, we would all live in 15-minute cities controlled with how much food we were given weekly, what we could do. We would be no vehicles and synthetic meat.
I don't have a whole bunch of left to get into it, but I can say this. Let's go back to the origins of school and why it was created in the first place.
Cool.
Keep getting
Been
out of our
there.
hair.
Let's really look into that, and then you're going to understand how they were creating colonies of ants back then, and has pretty much stayed the same up until recently, right? And before COVID and all this other stuff happened or whatever, do you remember the Middle East and stuff they were doing? They were burning and destroying all of the old religion. Do you remember that? They were doing that.
Doing it here.
Yeah, but I mean, they were doing that. They were destroying our history here too. You know, we had the BLM, and they were destroying the the Confederate flag and pulling down the Robert E. Lee statues and all that, and all those the Southern stuff or whatever. Realizing,
Yep.
I'm not going to make any number statements, but if you really look at what the whole Civil War was about, what we're told and pumped in your face was about, was very minute compared to what it was about. So they started destroying history and religion and everything all the way down the line. And all of a sudden they're like, well, we got to do X, Y, and Z, and we're going to change this. And then COVID hit and the world kind of changed altogether. Everybody stayed home and this going, that going. And I mean, but let's, I want everybody to understand that it's in your time it happened. It isn't like it's never happened before. Okay.
Right.
All types of shit like that happen on this planet, sometimes even worse. Matter of fact, some of the stuff that broke out early in the United States of America made COVID look like a fucking flea on a toilet seat. Like it didn't even mean anything.
Smallpox.
Yep. And let's not forget, one of the biggest murderers right now in the entire country is McDonald's. I'll say it. That fast.
You're not lying.
Feed them. Where are they getting this stuff from? I want to know where the transactions are, dude. How come they have a secret formula for their Coke? I'm not making a conspiracy theory. They seriously have a secret formula so it tastes a certain way, and people go there because they like Coke from McDonald's.
More sugar.
Yeah.
There's more sugar. Yeah.
Yeah. So did Escobar. He had a secret formula for his Coke.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
They had
What did you say?
I said, so did Escobar had a secret formula for his Coke.
They had a secret. They add sugar to their French fries, Jimmy. So like it makes you.
Their French fries are you taste them by
salty.
smell. They're not. They're sprayed with a scent.
I just want you to know,
more like
McDonald's
their
French
fries.
fries are very addictive.
I know. Did you see that video, man, where they had that Big Mac meal and they let it set in this guy's car for like a month or whatever, and it didn't change, dude?
Yeah.
They tried burning it, and it wouldn't burn.
There was that video of that older woman, and she goes, my mom's going to go get her Big Mac out of her closet. Did you guys see that video? It was trending for a while. And she pulled it out, kept it all in the original 1970s. I mean, like all of it. And it looked like she just went and bought it. And we eat that shit.
Was it still warm?
I don't eat that shit.
What do you think they're doing now, dude? They're 3D printing the sandwiches. My point is, we focus on stuff, but they're telling you, look, come here. We're going to use a stethoscope. We're going to give you a little care, and we're going to give you a shot and test your blood. We're going to tell you that you're going to be okay, and then we're going to pump you full of disgusting food, right? It's a big vicious cycle, man. Make them sick, heal them. Make them sick, heal them. Make them sick, heal them. It's perfect. It's a perfect thing. And that's going on. And then you have big businesses. And I often think, and it's so right in your backyard, you never even think about it. Think about your jobs, right? The higher ups don't give a fuck about you because that back over there that says school, they're going to pump 10 new ones out tomorrow and 10 more the next. And they don't care about how you feel, if your children are dying, if you're divorced. It's all about money. And that's what I'm trying to say. The government does that to all of us. So if we're up high and mighty and we're being paid, $250,000 a year, and we're just laughing while someone's struggling trying to make $35,000, we're like, we don't care. We pretend and we put $10 in an envelope, or we give it to their GoFundMe page, but we really don't. It doesn't stop us from going out and having our Reese's ice cream or our steak dinner. I mean, think about it.
I mean, that's on the people though too, man. I mean, minimum effort's always going to make you minimum wage, man. I mean, you got to go out there and get it.
So my point is, the big, huge companies that are now just a big evil sprocket machine. It's just like, they don't care about you, dude. No.
Mm-mm.
Born Scum had it right, Jeff. On the shirt it said "No Lives Matter" with Mickey Mouse with a gun to his head. That's the truest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
I got a sticker.
No lives matter. Nobody matters, dude. You just don't matter. Once you realize the greatest thing that you can accomplish in your life is realizing that you don't matter, you'll become very successful.
It matter to me. That's the only thing that's important, man. And to my family. Somebody gave me a sticker that says "No lives matter." I think you're all cunts. Fucking
That's true. But nobody cares. It's so funny to me. If you care so much about stuff, then sell your whole fucking house. Go be a homeless person and give everything away back to the people. You're not going to do that because you don't care that much, right? So let's not get into acting like there's a lot of people out there like, oh, well, I do this. Listen, I support conservation. I'm not a conservationist. A conservationist goes over to other countries, right?
Yep.
Lives in the jungle for 2-3 years at a time, digging ditches, eating mealworms, getting encephalitis, or whatever the fuck. That's a true conservation.
I don't see a downside.
So I just support it. I just support it, right? I try to donate what we can. We try to give money back, bring animals back to it, give it to those people, give them
education.
That's why we do Croc Fest. So, I mean, if you think about all that kind of stuff, man, those are people that do true conservation. So when you got these guys talking about, oh, I'm a conservationist, again, more propaganda and bullshit from people. So just realize you're just doing that for a title. Nobody cares. Nobody matters.
Or attention.
It's all about clicks, dude. That's what it's fucking about now. It's all
about what you can do. Like, so if you couldn't really make all that money on social media, being this big animal personality or whatever, but you could by painting tires. Don't you think more people would paint tires? I mean, it's just what's making you a big thing, So, and people always say, well, you have animals, well, you do more of this and put this up and put that up, because I don't want to do that. That's not my thing. I love my animals and I enjoy them. That's what I do. But this is what I do. I like to have fun with my people too. It's not my entire life. So all of us on here, we come on here, me, Jimmy, Jeff, we deal in that, but we have a good time. We don't have to do it all the time. Every now and then you talk about some stuff. What's up, Elaine?
What's up, Elaine?
Well, but that's the thing. Like, that's why I made Paranormal Mama.
What's that?
I said that's why I made Paranormal Mama. Like, my work day to day is paranormal and UFOs. Like, mostly UFOs right now. And I prefer to live in that space just because I don't like where our world is heading, and I hate the news.
Put that on the t-shirt, beginners.
I hate. It's just that, like, you have to have comedy and, like, you have fun. Like, people always say to me, why don't you put up your work? Like, why don't you put more of your work up in the field? Because I don't want to. Like, yeah, that's my work. That's what I do. But I don't need to show you my emails. I don't need to show you the videos people send to me that I have to go through. I don't want to do that. Why can't I just show you the stuff that I appreciate and love? Like, that's why I made Paranormal Mama, so I can have fun with my life. There's jokes. There's humor. It's not all serious all the time.
Kids not knowing who 98 Degrees or whatever. NSYNC.
Oh, the NSYNC one. That was just funny because that was a trend because they're doing a reunion or whatever. I was like, whatever. That damn thing got over 10,000 views, and I'm like, what? Whatever.
That just shows you, man. That just shows you the intelligence of the world around you. And, people remind me of that big meat truck that fucking Stallone went into in Rocky and started beating the shit out of, because that's all skin bags now, man. You wouldn't believe some of the shit I listen to. I deal with the public, dude. And I'm like, really, dude? You got up today and you're able to tie your own shoes? And you believe that? You believe the questions you just asked me? Like, I don't even know what to say. And you have to think, somebody's got cameras, man. Someone's trying to fucking break you, dude, or make you like you or something.
Right. I was going to say,
exactly.
Do you know that on average?
Listen to this. Now, this is common sense. I have to say this. We were at the Palms probably 6 months ago, and somebody asked me. Normal questions are, hey, do the alligators ever go after the turtles in here and hurt them? Right? Because you got
that's a decent question.
You have like 5-foot alligators in there, right? But you got these little. Someone actually asked me, have the alligators and turtles ever bred in here, and you guys have like hybrids? What the fuck? Who the fuck? That's not, you can't even. Why would you? That doesn't even make sense to me. Like, you got to even understand, like, guys, there is common sense.
Yes, ma'am. We took out 3 of those babies yesterday.
You know what I mean? And then they'll say stuff like, well, we've heard of alligator turtles and we wondered. And you've never researched.
Oh my God.
And you haven't researched alligator turtles? You think that's a hybrid?
Wait a minute. So catfish isn't a cat and a fish?
You don't even need school. You have everything right here, right? You have it all right here. And you're going to tell me that you can't go on and find out that an alligator turtle is not a hybrid turtle alligator.
Ask ChatGPT. It'll tell you straight up because it's a matter of fact AI. if it's not scientific, it'll tell you it cannot be done. Like, I love ChatGPT.
You get it? So that's what I mean. And, and I'm sure, like Jeff said, he has people go, I don't want a person, a black nurse. I want a white one. That's just dumb. Shut up. You're dying. Just take what you got. And be glad you're in there doing their job. Okay? Because I wouldn't want that job.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give them. I can't stand people. So if you're in there, good for fucking you. So I respect the people that do what Jeff does. I respect them. I respect every nurse that took care of me and helped me get through my life, because those positive nurses, even though they're told, oh, you can't say anything to them that the doctor wouldn't say, you can't give them false hope. No, some of those people go in there and they're just honest. And you know what? That
I'll tell them. I was like, you're going to be fine. Don't sweat it.
Hang out. Because so what if they die? Right? You told them they were going to be okay, and you gave them a little peace of mind, right? This fucking crisis world. So that's what I
about all the time. I was like, just calm down. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, because most of them are.
You're in good hands. We'll do everything we can.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff, like, when am I off my shift?
Right? That's
right.
Keep them alive. 6:45. That is the name of the game.
Trying to get home. That's the thing. And I mean, that's, it's whatever. And so, every one of us have gone through any type of bullying or judge. And I wanted to talk about trigger words. And again, research where school originated from, why it started. Really look into that. Don't believe in it, for one. And as Brett always says, people will show you who they are. Believe them. And I think that that's a very good thing to live by. And
true colors always come shining through. Always.
And we all do things that the other one doesn't like, and we all do things that the other one loves, and we all care about each other in this group. And I think that that's what's important about everything, because
mutual respect.
If I look out the window,
exactly,
fire, and I'm sitting, or just say I'm having a fire and I'm in the driveway. Sometimes I invite neighbors and people over because it's got some camaraderie, right? And I happen to be sitting with all you in a driveway. And we look over and there's a nuke coming and we're going to get fried. At least we got fried together, man. You know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yep. We're all getting fried. I just know this. We're at a level again in this whole world where we're coming to where people aren't going to die on their knees this time.
Yeah. No.
You got to be careful what they push, or they're going to start a war, man, and we're going to have a lot of bullshit on our hands. You know?
There's a lot of people in the waiting that are not going to take it lightly. I'll just say that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
people
that'll take it waiting, and they get rim. It's just they're creating hate, folks. And I know that this may not make it anywhere, but you got to remember that you can't let that, man. We're bigger than that. There's more of us, right? Yeah. There's more of us, man. Get it together. Doesn't matter.
Don't let hate define you.
What your politics are. Get it together. And I always find it better to push everybody in the circle up, man. I want to see people succeed.
Yep.
I do.
Rising tide lifts all ships.
I'm going to help everybody underneath me when I make it. Why wouldn't you want to help me?
Yeah.
So, and you're right, Jeff. You're right. Jeff's he's a good friend of mine. He's a great guy, and he gets it. He's in the industry, he understands a lot of things. But I think to just remember, man, that's where we're at. So we just got to have each other, no matter what. There's nothing fake here. We never say, and I'm going to say that as we end the show, we never say anything on here that we don't feel. And this is I may be humble when I'm in public sometimes. I may be a goddamn barbarian. I may be a fucking prick. It just depends on how I feel. But who we really are really shines through this show, and this is exactly why we do it. And I don't care how many times they've kicked me off or suspended me because I don't fall into either one of their organizations. It's okay. I'm just going to keep doing it.
Or fact check.
Now I've noticed that there's other platforms coming out where we can do what we want. We're not judged because we keep animals in prison, or we wrestle alligators, or we're tattooed, or we propel Satanism and Satan and hell upon the planet. So dumb. So dumb. If you look at anything I post and it sets you on fire and you're pissed off, you're a fucking idiot. Okay? You're an idiot. If I put something on my page or I put something up and it gets you so worked up because of your friends, you're a fucking idiot. Remember that.
You can't take yourself too seriously.
Exactly. Just know that when you get all pissed off, like, I can't believe it. You're a moron.
And it shortens your life.
That in your mind, because we're all here to do stuff and have a good time. I don't necessarily think there's 10-foot hairy men running around. Brittany does. But if there is, and it shows up, I'm going to be like, damn, I'm not going to say they're not there. I'm just going to say I don't know, because I want to see it. I want an alien come up and put my mail in a mailbox one day, or I want a Bigfoot to deliver some weed to my front door. I'm going to open the door and be like,
oh, Bigfoot weed delivery, I'd be all over that.
Right.
Damn right.
You just made it. You just literally made a business plan and didn't even realize it.
Right.
That's right. Squatch
Bigfoot
and
delivery.
Weed as characters. You know, you could have like Batman deliver your weed, be like, "Here's your weed."
Oh, you heard it here first, folks. So Big Farm's going to get on this, Jeff. So now you can deliver medicine to children that need it, that are dying in the hospital, as a superhero.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Guys that call themselves
I already am a superhero.
They go to Ghostbusters, go to these hospitals and these little cancer kids, you know, because sometimes God gets angry and he likes to bully children and give them cancer. I mean, that's horrible.
That has nothing to do with that.
Why
does God always get brought into that? Like, God has nothing to do with that.
Hey,
it is
God
just
invent cancer,
but I just thought he was like, hey, we'll make it look at little Timmy. I don't like Timmy. Let's give him cancer. I mean, I just don't understand. But I don't agree with God doing that. But it's not up to me. I mean, he's the creator.
It's not God. Why does God always get
God
the
that
hate for shit?
dress up like Batman or Superman or Wonder Woman or whatever and go visit little kids in the hospital.
Swamp Thing.
I think it would be really cool. I think that would be such a cool thing for kids, because even when I used to work and do all the Give Kids, and they would get to meet like their characters as like their wish, Make-A-Wish would do these things. It was so heartwarming and so touching because they were real to them. And that's really all that mattered at the end of it. Like it was so powerful. And there were many times that I would leave and I'd tell my bosses, I can't do this again. Like, it was too emotionally draining. But then you find yourself in the van the moment they're like, we got another Give Kid. You're like, I'm going, just because you changed that kid's life.
I think it'd be awesome, man. I'll tell you what, though, if the Ghostbusters came to me in the hospital, I'd be like, let me ask you guys a question. Are you going to bust me after I die and become a ghost? Because, you know.
You're going to put me in that box?
I'm definitely doing that. I got some motherfuckers to haunt.
I can tell you this. I've been, for quite a long time in my life, I was part of an organization that would burn your whole house down with your family in it. But when it came to kids, you know.
You were a Christian? Just kidding.
Take children, they would go for it, dude, you know. Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, you know, there are some people out there, man, that are good people that are looked at because you make a bad decision and get yourself killed. Well, it's on you. But I just think that there's people out there, man, and I think that's a great idea, Jeff. You doing that? That would be cool, man. Let's start.
Yeah, we have the therapy dogs and stuff.
I said, man, there's medication business for kids.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
There's how many little kids that you know are going to die thanks to God doing that to them, that you're going to go make them feel better on their way out.
Right. Yeah, Brittany, can you say something to God about giving kids cancer and we can put a stop to this? Or
this is why I'm saying it. I'm going to say why I'm saying it, Brittany. I'm not saying that all people that believe in God say that. But a lot of them out here say God does that to test the parents, or, you know,
God doesn't do that.
Not stand, because, you know, I think you are propagating your faith wrong when you use that like that.
Yep. And you know what's funny? They don't practice. They do not practice at all what they preach, first of all. Second of all, they don't even know what the Bible is and read it thoroughly and understand it. Because if they did, half the shit in there, they'd be like, oh, wait, that's like that. Yeah, I wouldn't do that now. I see what they're saying. I get it. There's a message in this story. Dumb shit.
So we know that. We know that.
Teach your kids.
My favorite is that.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say that when people say things like, oh, you know, God brought a tornado because there's too many gay people in the world, or because, you know, all the time. It makes me fucking crazy. Oh yeah, no, that was our fault. Or, you know, or like the people who preach an event, who foretell an event and it doesn't happen, and they're like, well, now I saved you all because I was so strong and so tight with God. You know,
they really need to learn. They just like freaking.
I think we're in like a.
I'm not going to touch that.
I don't think any God of any bullshit, whatever you want to worship, good for you. It does not get involved in anything here. This is your trial, man. Do the best you
can. Yep. You're like a skipping stone. You're just skipping through this life to the next.
And I understand that.
And
you
so,
just have to people say stuff, and it fries my cookies every time. Like, you want to talk about making someone triggered. That type of idiocracy is what the world's problem is today.
Damn,
we'll say this.
Well,
and that's by a dog ball.
For those of you that know, you know, but we do have a friend of ours that battled extremely aggressive form of cancer, and for years, they now found out today that they're completely cured and they never have to go back for a check.
Yep.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'm not throwing names, but congratulations for that. And for those of you that know, I just wanted to say that because it's very deserving. And that person right there, extremely strong. The mind of that human being is probably even stronger than mine. So to be able to go through and endure that type and stay that strong and that cool, it's good. It's good to not believe what you're told. Plain
that
not
type of person,
and go against it. Period. End of story.
That type of person who we're talking about is the kind of person that I would advocate to have do lectures and speak on this type of stuff to people that are struggling with it right now or dealing with it, to provide the hope and provide the faith and the backing to know that you've got to stay strong through it, because that would be somebody I'd listen to, frankly. If I was going through it and that person walked in the room, I'd be like, I want to hear everything that they have to say.
That's stories of hope are what we need to have hope.
Yeah.
Instead of people telling us that, give up this cure because, God wants you to eat leaves and, whatever. It's just crazy these days that people hurt themselves over religion, or just you look at we get Jehovah's Witnesses that won't take any blood or blood products and will straight up let their kids die. If you want to, you can't.
Kids are being born. Come on.
Well, they say it's God's will, whatever happens. So in their minds, it's God's will if a kid gets cancer or if whatever,
That's the problem, though. Again, I hate when God gets brought into things. That is so naive thinking.
I hear that.
Because it's like you cannot bring God into these things when he himself said, I am not God of this world, which means I have given you your own mind. That is why we have creative thinkers and doctors and medicines, because he provided that on this planet for us to be able to thrive and given us the powers within ourselves to do that on this planet. So when people always immediately blame God, I'm like, you just don't read. You don't read enough.
These creative thinkers that created medicine, they were like, you know what? I want to save everybody. And I'm
not for the good.
Give them for this. No, hold on. They did. Remember? Because they believe
for the good.
The devil comes in a flashy suit. He says, sit down. Let's talk.
Hold them beer.
What's else to you? Right? Yep. Come on in. We're going to cure everything you got, man, for $19.99 a day.
Yep. Just take this.
Man.
Western medicine.
He comes in, dude. When he comes a knocking, what do you say? And that's the problem, dude.
I say, come on in and have a beer. Have some coffee.
No, but I don't think medicine is a problem.
Unbelievable to me.
Anyway, I want to end on a good note. So I step away from all this because it's,
The end of way is God giving kids cancer. That's amazing.
No, stop it. Listen.
Being born with mental
stocking if you're bad at Christmas, cancer.
Stop it. Enough. Listen, what you guys need to do tomorrow night. It's a new movie. If anybody has Hulu, and it's really good. It's suspenseful, but it comes out tomorrow night, and it's called. No, sorry, I'm not. I know, but no, but seriously. So it's on Hulu. They say it's going to be on Disney Plus, but from what I've read, I think that's going to be in other areas, not in the US. Hulu will be having it only, but it's called No One Can Save You. And it's about alien abduction. And it's complete awesome thriller. No, it's a great new thriller. It's great. And I cannot wait to watch it. I'm excited the way that it's shot, the way that it's done, suspenseful, really well done. I'm very excited. And it's done by 20th Century Fox. And I really think everybody should check
What's it called again?
No One Can Save You.
And
I'll send on Hulu. I'll send on our group chat. I'll send the video link. But for those listening,
private chat because he's not in the group. They won't let me put him in the group.
I know. I send him stuff. I'll send it to. He knows. I always take care of Brett.
Registered iMessage. See how they keep us apart? They're trying to divide us. They're dividing us with apples and
galaxies. No, I'll send him the link. I'll send Brett the link too, but I'm saying I'll send it to all of you. But it's a great trailer. I think you guys will like it. I cannot wait to watch it tomorrow night. I am super.
I already have it checked. I saw that about 2 weeks ago, and I said I'm going to watch that for sure. So I've already checked it out. Yeah.
I
can't wait.
If you like some fun shit, man, Jimmy.
No, but definitely, man. I'll see all you guys in about 3 weeks.
That's right. He's coming down.
Yeah.
Lock up your daughters, Florida.
Oh yeah, I'll be out there. Jeff,
I
Jimmy,
get one of my other brothers back.
got to get some bikes, man.
Woo!
Jeff,
I know.
Jeff's
I know.
working-
First, I got to get this
Eventually,
house locked down.
I've talked about it. I just have to do it. So
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah,
Eventually.
we'll get together and do that because I know you all like to be doing that ride and stuff, man.
Hell yeah! You know,
Oh, yeah.
motorcycles.
You know-
I can't wait to see you guys, meet you guys.
It's gonna be fun.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited.
Are you bunking
Family
at
re-
Troy's for the
Family
time being?
reunion.
What's that?
Are you
Yes.
bunking at Troy's for the foreseeable time being?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Start out. I'll hit the ground running though. We've got a lot of things planned.
And then I can
Nice.
we can go over and visit Jeff's place when he gets it too, man. We can
Absolutely. If you need any help, let me know.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Good.
But I'm still waiting on a few things, and they told me my ex-wife's in Scotland, and they're like, "Oh yeah, she needs to sign off because we're not divorced yet on the quitclaim." And I was like, "Well, you should have told me that before she went to fucking Scotland." And they're like, "Oh, well, she can't do it till the day of anyway, so we may have to push the closing a couple days." Fucking stupid shit.
Well, that's
Oh,
But
wow.
everything got the appraisal done. It supposedly went well. You know, everything was repaired, so hopefully.
Yeah, Jeff. We're
That's
gonna
good,
keep
man.
this house retro, right?
Oh, totally. I'm gonna fucking everything is gonna go. Well, I'm gonna have my sections. I got some nice satanic art. I got some vintage stuff. I got snake pictures. I got a lot of. I've been collecting pictures of like vintage pictures of people with snakes and handling snakes, and
Oh,
you know,
cool.
guys like Ross Allen and stuff like that, you know, Florida guys who were amazing handlers and nice black and white photos. And also I've been getting flyers from like old attractions. Like I have
nice.
some really old
That's
like
cool.
Gatorland stuff and stuff like that, frame it up and make it nice. So I'm gonna
Nice.
really try to do some good stuff and hook it up.
I can't wait. Can't wait to see it, man. That's exciting.
Awesome.
You get to
Thank
like
you guys. I'll be having a housewarming party complete with smoked meats,
Yeah.
mini smoked meats.
yummy.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about
Oh.
that. So, well, I appreciate everybody coming out again and watching all of us here talk a lot of shit about stuff you probably don't want to listen to. I know most people come here to hear Brittany's logic, and that's okay too. That's why we bring her on. So, thanks for everybody coming out.
And my rant.
You guys hang with me again. That's why we do what we do, and we love it. So,
Hey.
good night, guys. Y'all stand by for a second. Just stand by for a second.